There's not many times I get to come on New York Giants Now and have a genuine smile on my face, but this is as real as it gets. Breaking news, the New York Giants, they have officially hired Brian Daboll to be their next head coach. I'm excited. We're going to break it all down. We're going to touch on everything that's going on in the Twitter streets. First, Ian Rappaport, he broke the news and said this. Sources, the Giants are working to hire Bills OC Brian Daboll as their new head coach. The two sides will attempt to do a deal and reunite him with his old friend and new New York Giants general manager, Joe Schoen. The tea leaves all along alluded to the fact if Joe Schoen got hired, he was going to bring in Brian Daboll, and now we're hearing that they might have an offensive coordinator already in place. We'll get you his name in a quick second, but let's touch on what Brian Daboll already issued out and said about being the New York Football Giants head coach. He said this: "It is an honor and a privilege to be named head coach of the New York Giants. Thank you to Joe Schoen for believing in me and to John Mara and Steve Tisch and their families for entrusting me with this position. My immediate goal is to assemble a coaching staff, a strong staff that emphasizes teaching and collaboration and making sure our players are put in the position to be their best and ultimately to win games. That's why all of us do this. To teach, to be successful, to develop talent, and to win. I have a pretty good idea where our fan base's feelings are right now, and I get it. I promise we will all work our tails off to put a team on the field that you will be proud to support and give us the results we all want." I'm getting goosebumps just reading that because Brian Daboll was my number one choice, and he is the absolute perfect hire for the New York Giants right now. I mean, look at this picture. For a bald guy, he's a pretty damn good-looking bald guy. And shout out to the guys over at the New York Giants. They put this out on Twitter. The edit is real. He looks great in New York Giants blue. Joe Schoen, he also issued a statement on Daboll. He said this: "Over the last 4 years, I have observed firsthand Brian's strength as a leader. He is an excellent communicator, intelligent, innovative, and hardworking. Brian's genuine and engaging personality is refreshing. He fosters a relationship with the players and coaches around him. He is progressive in his vision and values collaboration, two of the attributes we think are essential." So guys, I'm pumped up, but I want to know where all of you stand. You tell me. Get down in the comments. I wanted everybody that's watching this video to sound off for me. What was your one-word reaction to the Giants hiring Brian Daboll? For me, it was bang! Just like Mike Breen. You know what I'm talking about if you're a New York Knicks fan. Bang! This was my number one target throughout the whole search. Yeah, there were some guys that I had, strong feelings about, but they didn't get interviews. Once the guys got the interviews and the list came out, Daboll was at the top of my list. And it's for this reason. Offensive-minded head coaches are the way to go. Joe Schoen, in his introductory press conference, preached stability, continuity. He wanted a coach that could be there and be a stable piece in this organization. And you know what's going to be stable right now? Your offensive coordinator. Because Brian Daboll, although he's the head coach, he's not going to have the title of the OC, he is going to call the plays. And look at this. The 4 teams left in the NFL playoffs, they're all coached by offensive-minded head coaches. Zach Taylor, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay, they all call the plays. Another reason I wanted an offensive-minded head coach is this. Because say you had a defensive-minded head coach and you had a slam dunk hire as the offensive coordinator. What's going to happen if the Giants' offense goes off next year? That offensive coordinator is going to be in the running to be a head coach in the next head coach cycle. That's just how it works. Everyone's looking for that new offensive coordinator. And if the Giants, if they were to have hired a defensive coordinator and hit on the offensive coordinator, it would be likely he was only there for 1 or 2 years. What has Brian Daboll done with the Buffalo Bills? In the last 2 years, he's had one of the best offenses in the National Football League. In 2020, they scored the second most points. In 2021, they scored the third most points. In 2020, the third most passing yards. And in 2021, a top 10 passing offense. My one concern with Daboll was back in 2020 when they only were the 20th best ranked offense in rushing. And then this year, they took a leap. They became the 6th best offense when it came to yards per game. Yes, that leans on Josh Allen because he is a running quarterback, but if you watch the Bills in the playoffs, they're creative with their runs, they're decisive in when they run the football, and they don't rely on the run, and that's something that I love about Daboll. He's not afraid to let the pass open up the run, and you fix this offensive line, Saquon Barkley will be great again. Make Saquon Barkley great again. Go back to school for me. Grade the Brian Daboll hire. I'm not going to give it an A+, but I give it an A. Maybe I'm just being a homer. I bleed Giants blue, but I firmly believe that this guy is the guy to turn the New York football Giants around. But get in the comments, grade the Brian Daboll hire for me. And this is why you subscribe, fellas. We're going to have one of the first videos up on YouTube reacting to the Brian Daboll news. We had a video go out earlier today. I was off today. I was about to go eat some chicken wings when the news broke. But I drove in, through traffic, speeding through red lights, looking in the rear view. Shout out to my guy, Future. This is why you subscribe. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers, and we can't do it without your help. So if you're new to the channel, go down and hit that big red button and join the family right now. You know, we were doing Brian Daboll videos, and I talked throughout the process that he was my #1 candidate. I always saw this in the comments. But Marshall, Daboll was nothing with Josh Allen. Josh Allen made Daboll great. And that's true. But you also know who helped Josh Allen be great is Brian Daboll. Look what Josh Allen did when he was in college back in 2016. A 56% completion rate in college, that's terrible. 28 TDs and 15 interceptions in 14 games. But in 2017, where he played 11 games, 16 TDs, he cut down on the interceptions, which I applaud him for, but the completion percentage was just 56%. Then he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. And then Brian Daboll came into town, and he helped him reach his absolute maximum potential. Brian Daboll is great because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen is great because of Brian Daboll. Look at these stats. The past 2 years, Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, and that's because of the great partnership that they had. I want to also mention this for the guys. But Marshall, Brian Daboll, he was nothing before he joined the Buffalo Bills and had Josh Allen. Well, he had these quarterbacks to work with. Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson, Colt McCoy, Seneca Wallace, Jake Delhomme, Chad Henne, Matt Moore, and Matt Castle. Most of you probably don't even know half of those guys. The point is, it takes a marriage of talent to be great. You're hoping Brian Daboll can help Daniel Jones. He's not going to turn Daniel Jones into the next Josh Allen, but can he put him in position to be a winning quarterback? I firmly believe that. I think this is a guy that's going to get the absolute most out of Daniel Jones. Daboll, he's an innovative offensive mind, and I'm going to trust him to get this offense back on track. Let me know. Did you want the Giants to hire Brian Daboll? I know not all of you did, so sound off in the comments for me. Type Y for yes or type N for no. And you could have bet on who was going to be the next New York Giants head coach with our proud sportsbook partners, BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code chat125, and when you deposit $100, they will match that with a 125% deposit bonus. So lay down $100. Get 125% deposit bonus, have 225 bones in your account to bet with, and bet on the championship games this weekend, bet on the Super Bowl, bet on the Giants over win total next year. You can do it all with BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125. A lot of people, like we talked about earlier, Brian Daboll, he's never been a head coach, but he's had a lot of stops through his coaching career in the college ranks and in the pro ranks, and that's a plus because the #1 job for a head football coach is obviously to win games. But you know how you do that? You do that by building a strong staff. And with all the stops he's had in his NFL coaching career, he was with the Bills he started in 2018. Then he was the Alabama OC, then the Patriots tight end coach, then he was the Chiefs OC, then the Dolphins OC, then the Browns OC, then the Jets QB coach, the Patriots wide receiver coach, then the Patriots defensive assistant. Then he was a Michigan State grad assistant. He was with Michigan State, a grad assistant. That graphic's wrong. Ignore that. Then he was with William & Mary, a volunteer assistant. But this is the point. Every stop that he's been at, despite not being a head coach, he has made a lot of relationships. And it's already coming out that Ken Dorsey is going to be the Giants' offensive coordinator. Why is that? Because of the relationship that he built with him when he was in Buffalo. The fact that he had multiple stops, been all over the country. He's built relationships, and as an NFL head coach, you got to build a strong staff, and that starts with your relationships. What you think? Let me know. Are you happy the Giants signed Brian Daboll? I know I'm going to go on my burner account on YouTube and like this video because I am pumped up. This was my #1 guy. I'm happy. I'm excited. Finally, I think the Giants are in the right hands once again. If you're happy the Giants hired Brian Daboll, like this video. We touched on it just a second ago, but hey, Adam Schefter, he just tweeted this out. A beneficiary of Brian Daboll's departure, Buffalo's passing game coordinator and QB coach Ken Dorsey is likely to become an offensive coordinator with either the Bills or the Giants, per sources. Then Jordan Schultz, who works for ESPN, backdoored him and said this. As I reported earlier in the week, Daboll wanted to be a package deal with Ken Dorsey. He's getting his wish. Sources say Dorsey is currently in negotiations with the Giants to become their new OC. Bills Mafia, head down to the Meadowlands. That's right, we're the Buffalo Giants, but I promise you this, we're going to be great again. I'm not saying we're going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, but we are finally returning to the respectability that this New York Giants franchise deserves. But I want to know this. Maybe it's not Ken Dorsey. Maybe Jordan Schultz isn't right. I think he is. I believe that Daboll wanted to be a package deal with Dorsey, but sound off. Who do you want as the Giants OC? When the Giants hire an OC, we'll be breaking it down on this channel. If you made it to the end, subscribe and type me in the comments. Everyone that types me in the comments right now, I will give you a shout out on the next New York Giants Now. We're trying to get 6,000 subscribers. I want to get there, and I need your help. And follow me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. When the news broke, I put a tweet out, then I rushed into the office, and we're getting this video out for you. Another way to stay up to date on Giants news is hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.